You've heard all about the AI boom, right? But what if I told you the real story isn't about the tech itself? It's about who's footing the bill. See, behind the scenes, there's this huge power shift happening in the world of funding. And in this explainer, we're going to dive into how a really unlikely group is now bankrolling the future.
All right, let's get right to it. The elephant in the room. Are we in another AI bubble? Is this thing going to pop? Well, the short answer is no. This is not a repeat of what we've seen before. And to really get why, we've got to look at what's fundamentally different this time around.
Okay, so let's be super clear here. This is not 1999 all over again. The dot-com bubble, that was all about big stories, big promises, and, well, often teeny tiny speculative revenue. Today's AI boom is a completely different beast. It's built on something you can actually touch. Trillions in real revenue, massive capital spending, and actual physical infrastructure. This isn't just hype, folks. It's a build-up.
Yeah, what we're talking about is a full-blown industrial evolution. I mean, just look at the insane earnings from big tech. That's the proof right there. We are literally building the physical backbone of intelligence itself. It's not just about code anymore. It's about the reindustrialization of software. Think steel, think silicon, think raw, physical power.
Okay, so you're probably thinking, if this build-out is so huge and so real, the money must be pouring in from everywhere, right? Well, that's where the story gets interesting. There's a big problem brewing in the traditional funding world, a kind of choke point that's popping up right where we need the fuel for innovation the most. And this quote right here, it just perfectly sums up the mood among the big money players, the people who actually invest in venture capital funds. We call them LPs, or limited partners. And right now, with all the uncertainty out there, they're playing it safe. They're sticking with the biggest, most established names in the game. It feels like a safe bet, sure, but it's causing a huge problem down the line. So what happens when everyone plays it safe? Well, as all that cash floods into the giant established VC firms, a huge funding vacuum opens up at the very earliest, riskiest stages of innovation. This basically starves the new, up-and-coming VC managers, the ones who are supposed to be finding the next big thing. And the most important part? It means that the startups at the pre-seed and seed stage, the ones with the crazy, world-changing ideas, are getting left out in the cold. So this leaves us with a really critical question. If the traditional engine for funding risky early-stage ideas is starting to sputter, who's going to step up? Who is going to write those first, absolutely crucial checks for the next generation of game-changing companies? Well, the answer's coming from a place you might not expect. We're talking about family offices. Yep, private family wealth is stepping in to become the new backbone of early-stage venture, and they are plugging that massive gap we were just talking about. So what exactly is a family office? It's pretty simple, really. It's basically a private company that manages all the money, investments, and trusts for a single, super rich family. And the key thing here is that they can be way more nimble, way more agile, and they're willing to take on the kinds of risks that the big institutional guys are shying away from right now. And their impact? It's absolutely huge. I mean, let's be real. Without them, there probably wouldn't even be a pre-seed and seed market to speak of right now. They've become the essential investors for these new managers, which makes them a lifeline for the tiniest, earliest startups. They are literally saving the innovation ecosystem from the ground up. Okay, so we figured out who is funding the future. Now let's get into the what. What kind of companies are they backing? Well, this new wave of capital is flowing into a very specific type of company that is perfectly built for this moment in time, the vertical AI company. So what on earth is vertical AI? Think about it this way. Instead of trying to be a Swiss Army knife for everyone, like the big tech giants, these companies are more like a surgeon's scalpel. They go deep. They build incredibly specialized AI tools for one single high-stakes industry. Think manufacturing or energy or logistics. It's all about depth, not breadth. They're obsessed with expertise and solving really specific, really tough problems. And please, don't mistake specialized for small. The value being created here is just staggering. Get this, a recent analysis looked at just 140 of these companies, and their combined market value was already over $120 billion. This is where the real action is in AI right now. So that huge number leads to the obvious question, right? How are these super focused companies getting so valuable so fast? It all comes down to a simple reality for big companies. They have to buy this tech because they just can't build it themselves anymore. And there are three big reasons why. One, they just don't have the super specialized talent needed to create this cutting-edge stuff. Two,
They can't compete with the massive proprietary data sets, the data moats that these startups are building. And 3, you just can't fake that deep expertise that comes from focusing on one single problem for years on end. Okay, so let's put all the pieces of the puzzle together. What we're witnessing is a brand new playbook for innovation. It's being written by this powerful new alliance between that agile family money and these super focused tech startups. So here's the chain of events, right? First, the AI boom turns into a true industrial revolution. That makes the traditional VCs a little nervous, so they play it safe, which creates a funding gap. Then, our heroes, the agile family offices, step in to fill that gap with early-stage money. And where does that money go? It flows right to those specialized vertical AI startups. And the grand finale, those startups start to reshape entire industries, from the outside in. What we're looking at here is nothing less than the dawn of a new era, the compute age. It's this great reindustrialization of software, where the real value isn't just about showing you information on a screen, but about actually creating real-world results. This is the new world we're living in. And all of this leaves us with one last big question to chew on. As AI continues to transform basically every industry on the planet, is this new alliance, this combination of patient family money and laser-focused tech, going to become the dominant model for all future innovation? The playbook is definitely changing, and it's happening right in front of us.